It was a warm Thursday evening in the manicured cul-de-sac of Lavender Heights, where the lawns were as pristine as the egos of its residents. Evelyn Marwood, a woman whose presence could command a rumor a neighborhood, was settled into her nightly ritual. A glass of chilled Pinot Grigio rested on the coaster beside her, condensation beating down its stem, while eucalyptus-scented candle flickered on the coffee table. She'd arranged a plate of artisanal crackers and brie with the precision of a Michelin chef, and her cashmere throw was draped over her lap like a royal mantle. Evelyn clicked play on her Roku, sinking into the plush cushions of her sectional sofa as the opening credits of Killer in the Clinic Rolita docudrama about a diabolical dentist with a penchant for poison. This was her domain, her sacred hour, where the chaos of the outside world bowed to her curated calm. Then disaster struck. Halfway through the episode, just as the dentist's latest VY-TIM was about to be discovered in a sterilization tank, the screen froze. That dreaded buffering wheel spun into VYEW, taunting her with its relentless swirl. Evelyn's brow furrowed. She tapped the pause button. Nothing. She jabbed it again, harder, as if force could bend technology to her will. Still, the wheel spun. She muttered a curse under her breath, stood up with the grace of a displeased queen, and marched to her Routera sleek black box perched on a shelf like a modern art piece. She unplugged it, counted to 10, and plugged it back in. No change. She clapped her hands twice and barked, "Alexa, reset everything." The VYC chirped back, "I'm not sure how to help with that," its tone infuriatingly chipper. Evelyn's wine was warming, her patience thinning, and her night unraveling. Evelyn Marwood was no stranger to control. She was the unofficial overseer of Lavender Heights, a self-appointed sentinel armed with a leather-bound notebook and a perpetually steaming latte. She'd once spent an entire Saturday measuring the height of every mailbox to ensure HOA compliance, issuing sternly worded notes to offenders. She'd lectured teenagers about the acceptable radius of their sidewalk chalk art and filed a 42-page grievance when a neighbor painted their garage door a shade she deemed too bohemian. To Evelyn, order wasn't just a preference, it was a calling. So when her Netflix refused to cooperate, it wasn't a mere inconvenience. It was a personal affront. She fired off a scathing text to the HOA group chat. "Someone's jamming my signal. This is unacceptable." Silence. She escalated to Nextdoor, posting a 300-word rant about digital sabotage and bandwidth bandits. Crickets. Convy said she was under attack. Evelyn did what any rational person, or at least Evelyn, would do. She dialed 911. "Yes, hello," she snapped when the dispatcher answered, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. "My Netflix isn't working. I demand someone fix this now. I pay taxes. I pay HOA dues. I deserve premium service YC. This is an emergency." The dispatcher, a seasoned pro named Carla, paused, likely wondering if she'd misheard. "Ma'am, this line is for emergencies, fires, medical issues, crimes. Is there an actual threat?" Evelyn doubled down. "This is a crime. I was in the middle of a murder documentary, and now it's just that spinning wheel. Do you know how long I've waited for this episode?" Carla, suppressing a sigh, suggested she call her internet pro V-Wider. Evelyn hung up, incensed. She wasn't about to be dismissed. Deputy Nathan Brooks didn't expect his night to take this turn. He'd been patrolling nearby, sipping lukewarm coffee, when the call came through. It was absurd 9/11 for a streaming glitch, but it was a slow shift, and he figured he'd check it out. Maybe the caller was elderly, confused, or VYing a meltdown. He pulled up to 17 Lavender Lane and found Evelyn pacing her front lawn in a silk robe, while VYing her remote like a conductor's baton. "Finally, someone who gets it," she said, spotting his cruiser. Nathan raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, you called 911 over Netflix?" Evelyn huffed. "Don't be ridiculous. I called because my entire system's been compromised. I'm a VY-TIM of cyber warfare." Nathan bit back a grin. "Cyber warfare, huh? Let's see your setup." She led him inside, launching into a monologue about how certain home measures specifically deserved priority bandwidth. Her Lee VYing room was a shrine to modern luxury. A 65-inch smart TV, a constellation of Alexa de VYCS, a smart thermostat glowing softly on the wall. But something was off. Her Wi-Fi signal was unusually robust, yet there was no modem in sight, no ISP bill on her counter. "Where's your internet coming from?" Nathan asked, curiosity piqued. Evelyn shrugged. "My niece, Tara, set it up years ago. Said it was some high-speed trick. I assumed it was an HOA perk." Nathan's instincts kicked in. He traced the signal with a handheld scanner, and within minutes, his jaw tightened. Evelyn's network wasn't connected to Comcast or ATVA. It was leeching off a high-powered, encrypted router owned by the county sheriff's department. Planted in an alley utility box 2 streets over, it was part of a covert operation monitoring a suspected meth lab. For 2 years, Evelyn had been streaming her murder shows on a federal surveillance line, obly VYS to the breach she'd created. "You mean I've been using illegal government Wi-Fi?" Evelyn shrieked when Nathan broke the news. "No, ma'am," he corrected. "You've been compromising a federal investigation. We'll need you to VYCES for EVY Denke." Her face went ashen. "Take my TV? My Alexa? Do you know how many playlists I have queued?" As tech agents in unmarked vans descended on her home, Evelyn stood in her doorway, clutching her remote like a talisman. They confiscated everything: her TV, her speakers, even her smart coffee maker, which she hadn't realized was networked. "This is oppression," she hissed as they carted off her gadgets. What Evelyn didn't yet grasp, what Nathan hadn't fully explained, was the depth of the mess she'd stumbled into. Her VYCS hadn't just tapped the signal, they'd recorded every late-night rant about inferior neighbors, every HOA threat barked at Alexa, every dramatic monologue about subpar lawn care. It was all synced to the cloud VY of the sheriff's router. Worse, her Ring doorbell had picked up snippets of audio from the drug house whenever suspects lingered near her property line. Evelyn's obsession with order had accidentally turned her home into an unwitting spy hub, and her 911 call had blown the operation wide open. By morning, Evelyn's name was in the sheriff's report. Her HOA PRI VY leges were revoked, and her digital life was in shambles. The neighborhood buzzed with whispers. 2 women lingered by their hydrangeas, glancing at her house. "She called 911 over Netflix?" one muttered. "And tanked a drug bust," the other replied, stifling a laugh. Evelyn peeked through her blinds, fuming. Her sacred evenings were gone, replaced by an eerie silence. No TV hum, no Alexa jazz, just the ticking of her antique clock. She poured a glass of wine and sat in her backyard, staring at the stars, plotting her next move. This wasn't over not for Evelyn Marwood. The fallout escalated fast. Nathan returned the next day, not with tech crews, but with a clipboard. "We need to talk about Tara," he said, his tone clipped. Evelyn froze. "What about her?" Tara, her niece, was a wiry 24-year-old with a computer science degree and a caffeine addiction. She'd crashed at Evelyn's during a summer internship 3 years prior, rigging up the premium Wi-Fi as a favor. Nathan explained that the hack wasn't amateur loot. It required knowledge of encryption protocols and government-grade networks. "This wasn't a fluke," he said. "Tara's name's on the routing trace." Evelyn's stomach lurched. Had Tara set her up? Or was this some reckless tech prank gone wrong? She called Tara immediately. Voicemail. Emailed her. Bounced. Checked Facebook account deleted. Panic clawed at her. She remembered Tara once joking about hidden signals in plain sight over breakfast, but Evelyn had tuned her out, more interested in her scones than tech babble. Now, it felt like a confession. That evening, a plainclothes investigator arrived with a subpoena for Evelyn's communication history. "We're looking into Tara's involvement," he said, handing her the paper. Evelyn stared at it, her hands trembling. She'd gone from HOA tyrant to federal suspect in 48 hours, all because her dentist drama wouldn't load. The courthouse was a circus when Evelyn's hearing arrived. Reporters swarmed as she stepped out of her Lexus in a tailored blazer and heels, her chin high despite the chaos. "Evelyn, "Did you know you were on spy Wi-Fi?" one shouted. She ignored them, muttering about media vultures as she strode inside. Her lawyer, a jittery man named Paul Hensley, was out of his depth, whispering, "Don't speak unless I say so," as they took their seats. The prosecution laid it out: misuse of 911, unauthorized access to a restricted network, and interference with a narcotic sting. Evelyn's face burned. She connected to the wrong Wi-Fi. Big deal, right? People did it at Starbucks all the time. Then came the audio. The prosecution played clips from her VYCS. Evelyn berating Alexa for incompetence, threatening to sue the HOA over a crooked lamppost, and most damning background chatter from the drug house, captured when a dealer walked past her mailbox. "My thermostat's a narc?" she whispered to Paul, who looked like he might faint. The judge recessed, and Evelyn stormed into the hall, dodging cameras. "Any regrets?" a reporter called. She spun around, eyes blazing. "I regret trusting a system that can't secure its own signals. If they didn't want me using it, they shouldn't have left it open." The clip went viral. Memes flooded X. Evelyn as a hacker in a wine-stained robe. Evelyn testifying before Congress with my buffering rights. Then Tara took the stand, looking like she'd rather be anywhere else. "I set it up," she admitted. "I told Aunt Evelyn it was sketchy, but she said, if it works, I don't care." She wanted fast Wi-Fi for her shows. Evelyn shot up. "That's a lie." The judge banged his gavel. Tara added, "When I tried to fix it, she freaked out because the new connection lagged on Property Brothers." The courtroom tittered. Evelyn's dignity crumbled. The verdict: a hefty fine, 60 hours of community care VYC, and a warning about future infractions. The HOA banned her from leadership roles, relegating her complaints to a low-priority inbox. Kids rode by on scooters, yelling, "Buffer Queen." Neighbors smirked behind their curtains. Evelyn retreated, but not for long. She rebranded herself a digital rights warrior, launching a blog called Bandwidth Betrayed. She posted manifestos about signal tyranny, oblivious to the irony of her tech illiteracy. Her TikToks filmed in front of her blank TV, wine and hand-ranted about streaming equity. Trolls ate it up, buying her "I buffer, I am" mugs to mock on YouTube. Her final stand came at the HOA's MOVYE night. Evelyn planned a drone drop a banner reading "End Signal Oppression" to reclaim her narrative. She practiced in her yard, terrorizing her roses and nearly decapitating a squirrel. On the night, clad in black leggings like a suburban ninja, she launched the drone. It soared, banner unfurling, then tangled and crashed into Nathan's cruiser. The crowd gasped, then laughed. Nathan, now a sergeant, escorted her away. "Vandalism, Evelyn," he said. She sniffed. Expression. Fines piled up, ban solidified, and the memes faded. Evelyn's crusade fizzled into obscurity. She started a journal, the Bandwidth Chronicles, scribbling her saga by hand. One quiet afternoon, she sat in the park with a romance novel. No drones or rants in sight. The neighborhood sighed in relief, but Evelyn? She still whispered to herself, "They're watching," every time a page turned too slowly. In her mind, she'd won a war no one else had fought. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this VY Deo with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next VY Deo.